mark of 71, which I thought, by contrast, was slightly tough.
Well, I thought a couple of things I didn't like. I thought his form was slightly regressive in 3 runs, and the one time he tried this trip, which was at Epsom, admittedly there may have been other reasons, he didn't appear to stay 9 furlongs, so he's got to prove he gets a trip, and he's got to prove that he'd go in the right way. Likely race, and who knows.
He's untried on the ground as well. So far, his best form is at 6.
Yeah, very much so. Stamina, current form, various things to prove.
And then we have Divine Angel, who is improving. Won at Windsor last time, making all. That was in soft ground over a mile. That was a maiden. Has a handicap debut mark of 68.
Yeah, I thought that was okay. And she showed a good attitude when winning at Windsor, and she certainly handled cutting the ground. That was a mile. She'd probably be okay with the extra furlong. I wasn't absolutely entirely convinced she wanted it. But she is at least in form, and she's likely to be ridden prominently, which, as we've seen today, hasn't been a bad thing.
Runners not too far away from arriving down at the start, and there's a bit of money coming for Sanokian Star, who did touch a low of 3-1, but back out to 100 to 30 now. Drifting is Quintillion out to 5-1 from 4-1. Shamaheart's inner point from 7-1 to 6-1, and the favourite remains solid at 11-4. So Shrewd still heads the market at 11-4, top weight for this nursery.
Is the market shaping up how you expected?
The right horses, I guess, up there. I think I'd make Sanokian Star maybe my slight favourite, only because I think the doubts about him are less. I doubt this race will turn out as good a race as last year, who won by the Derby placed main sequence. So I doubt there's a main sequence lurking here.
Yes, second in the Derby, second in the Great Voltigeur.
Yeah, ran well in the Ledger and came here on the back of winning, I think, a maiden at Yarmouth quite impressively. And say it was a good race last year. I doubt there's one of them, but you never know. Yes,
he started off in handicap company over 9 furlongs as well this season, didn't he?
Yeah, doesn't do horses any harm. And presumably he'll stay in training. He's a very good horse, and say he won this off a mark of 79 last year, so it was a bit of a good thing.
Yes, so we're anticipating that there's nothing of the calibre of David Lanigan's Star main sequence, but it's still nonetheless a tight and interesting little nursery with lots of question marks for these horses to answer, whether it be trip or ground.
Yeah, and they should go at all right pace. Divine Angel, Sanokian Star have both been ridden prominently in the past, and given Sanokian Star's got little doubt about stamina, you'd imagine he will be up there. And that we'll have to see. Will Monsieur Roussac improve for the trip like we think? Will Shrewd get the trip? Will Quintillion handle the soft? Is Shamaheart well handicapped? And I can't remember what the doubt was about Rainbow Beauty. Again, trip there, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And Monsieur Roussac is the one that's been back during the course of the afternoon. 8-1 after the non-runner, available this morning, now 4-1. And the one that's drifted is Quintillion, who was vying for favouritism last night and this morning and is now 9-2.
Well, you've quite like chance of Monsieur, or you're interested in Monsieur. Yeah. I don't want to strong it, but you, is it the second run at Sandown, presumably, that interested you most?
No, it was the run at Newbury, actually, that interested me more. I thought that he stuck on the style of a horse that would be suited by a step up in trip. Thought he ran pretty well that day. I suppose I was anticipating that 7 trip happening next year rather than this, but Johnny Portman's a trainer I like, and he's decided to go for it this year. The soft ground is the unknown for me.
Yeah, indeed it is. First time he's encountered it, so it is an unknown.
With horses in the race that are proven on it, and in at least a Sanokian Star, a horse that I anticipate will improve for the trip.
Yeah, well, certainly both run style and pedigree encourage you to think that he will.
Shrewd 11-4, Sanokian Star 7-2, who is the horse that Sky Bet were opposing today, the knockout horse of the day. 4-1, Monsieur Roussac. Quintillion is 9-2. Shamaheart is 11-2. Divine Angel is 16-1, and Rainbow Beauty the 25-1 outsider. Where will they go here? Presumably they'll, as it's such a small field, they'll stick to the far side.
Don't know. I absolutely have no idea.
And your next question is?
Absolutely no idea. Shamaheart's been backed, hasn't it? I say that's the one which I thought was, in many ways, hardest to make a case for on what he's done, other than, obviously, the yard's chock full of good 2-year-olds, and presumably we haven't seen the best of him. But on 3 runs, 71 wasn't a good mark on what he's done, and the form of his third and second run were worse than his first run, and he's never run on the ground. So things to prove, and trip, in fact. The trip at Epsom last time out appeared to stretch him, but that's the top bit backing him.
What line do you think Stuart's prepared here?
Oh, I can't think of any songs, can you?
No.
I don't know. I don't know. Is Monsieur Roussac anything?
I don't know.
No,
No.
well, that would have been Googled.
Yes.
That's a certainty.
Yeah.
No, don't know.
Well, we wait that with great anticipation. Shrewd's the 11-4 favourites, Knocking Star next best. Let's go and join Stuart and find out.
Oh, I don't have them for every horse in every race, you know. I'm not that studious. All in. And they're off, racing for the Thoroughbred Breeders Association Nursery. Quintillion, the noseband, restrained on jumping, and now where do they want to go? Well, Frankie begins to edge out into the centre, where he joins Divine Angel in the red and white and Monsieur Roussac in the yellow, and steadily the others are going across to race there as well. So now one cluster down the middle of the Rowley Mile with Divine Angel on the near side, giving a lead to Rainbow Beauty, the cheek pieces. The free-sweating Monsieur Roussac pulling hard in third. Then Sonokian Star with a pink jacket just ahead of Shamaheart, green cap. A Quintillion, the noseband, and Shrewd anchored at the back of the field by Hayley Turner, moving steadily towards the end of the third furlong. And on the sharp end, Divine Angel and Jimmy Quinn with an uncontested lead. And the filly skips a couple of lengths clear from Rainbow Beauty, the cheek pieces. And then Monsieur Roussac, Shrewd a bit closer, Sonokian Star away to the left, Shamaheart covered up, and Quintillion under a waiting ride from Dettori. Extreme right, but only about 3 lengths off the lead. Heading down now beyond the halfway stage and entering the last half mile. Still Divine Angel from Rainbow Beauty. Sonokian Star easing closer on the far side. Then Monsieur Roussac. Shrewd is next with Shamaheart. Now Dettori beginning to crouch lower in the saddle on Quintillion. And the gallop unwinding as they head down towards the bushes, just over 2.5 furlongs to travel. Fanning out across the track. Divine Angel headed and beaten as Sonokian Star goes on with Monsieur Roussac on the near side. Shrewd now unleashed by turn on the far side. Quintillion, meanwhile, has found nothing at all. Downhill to the last furlong. Shrewd draws alongside Sonokian Star and Monsieur Roussac, and Shrewd inches into a narrow lead as they make the climb for the line, and that narrow lead is now beginning to extend, and Shrewd is fairly forging clear under Hayley Turner, and Shrewd is far too good and wins well from Sonokian Star and Monsieur Roussac, a Rainbow Beauty and Shamaheart.
So Shrewd gets his third success of his short career racing. Hayley Turner riding for Michael Bell. Second, Sonokian Star for Joe Fanning and Mark Johnson. And third, Monsieur Roussac for Eddie Ahern and Johnny Portman. And those three are clear of the rest. And they had a good tussle between the three of them.
Yeah, the card was bookended with Michael Bell favourites. Capella's Song didn't win in the first race, but Shrewd has defied top weight in pretty good style, actually. Fully got the 9 furlongs, which we both had some doubts about it. Really got it. I think he had to get it. I don't think the pace was that bad. And Sonokian Star proved a gutsy opponent, but Shrewd won really well off a mark of 85. Is definitely better than that. Handled the ground and. Good luck. And the first three are a long way clear. Sonokian Star, I think, has got the trip absolutely fine. Monsieur Roussac's improved for the trip, and there's a good 6 lengths clear of the rest.
Who did you pick up bookended from? Because the first person I heard to use bookended on TV was Mr. Nick Luck. And then the other day I was watching Pointless, and Alexander Armstrong, or Xander as he's known in our house, used it as well.
I would have used bookend about 60 times on Racing UK.
Would you?
Yes.
Where did you first use it? Do you think you originated the phrase?
No, but I'm old enough to have been using it for a while. It's not an unoriginal phrase. It's been around for a while.
That's it?
Yeah, maybe not in Archway, but as the rest of the world.
Right, returning to the racing, Divine Angel was the one that took them along, and they raced in the centre for the final race.
They did.
Fresh from the evidence of the previous race that Hippie Hippie Shake and all the first 4 home came down the centre.
And they all decided to. And the one good thing about they all raced in the same place,
yes.
which at least made it less complicated. And Divine Angel did what she tried to do. She tried to do what she did at Windsor, which is to make all. She ends up dropping away, not entirely convincing she stays. I mean, still with a few of the people. And Shamaheart, the money was there, but to be fair, it's run a bit like how you'd imagined it running on form, really. Quintillion travelled all right for a way, then floundered and was well beaten late on. And it just turned into a 3-runner race. It really did. As Rainbow Beauty was up there early on, that gives best. And in the end, we've got the strong travelling Monsieur Roussac, who's moved up ominously going well. On the far side, Sonokian Star also going pretty well. The winner's tucked in behind, and actually you can see here from body language that Hayley Turner was fairly hopeful that she was going to pick him up, and she's shown the best turn of 4, or he's shown the best turn of 4, I beg your pardon.
Yes, and he's seen it out really nicely as well. The three of them have, at this early stage in their career, it's tough ass in soft ground, 9 furlongs for 2-year-olds. They've seen it out really well.
They have. They've all got the trip well. They've all handled the ground well, and the winner's pretty decent. The winner did much better than 85. Clearly, it's probably already a horse who's in the low 90s. Knocking Star's improved for the trip, as has the third, and they've run really well. They just bumped into quite a classy horse, I think.
Yes, and I was mentioning about the appearance of Monsieur Risek and how when we saw the recorded shots of him in the paddock, it was a positive that he hadn't got so sweaty and edgy like he did at Sandown last time. He's clearly got sweaty from the paddock down to the start, but it hasn't stopped him from giving his running.
No, and it's he's also wearing a breast girth. I do think that exaggerates horses' sweating.
It's down the neck as well, though.
That is, yeah, it is. But I still think that's probably part of it. He was perfectly well behaved beforehand. He didn't lose the race in certainly what we saw in the preliminaries. The gallop to the post is a 9 furlong gallop, and that's got him a little bit warm. But maybe that's what he's always going to be. But he certainly ran very well.
And Snooky Star has run well as well, but just found Shrewd too good. Really won quite comfortably in the end, actually, Shrewd, from 2 horses that definitely haven't failed for stamina.
No, giving weight away, and he's about a stone plus, or a stone, sorry, to the second, and £8 to the third, and beat them emphatically. Showed the best turn of foot as well.
We're fine. Thank you very much. We're done, yeah.
Yeah, it's a win for Shrewd in the final race for Michael Bell. 3 wins from 5 starts now this season for the son of Street Sense, who likes the conditions and has taken out the nursery in good style for favourite backers who will leave Newmarket happy.